Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Day in the Life of. I am your co host, Rajiv Krishna Kumar, and I have with me my co host, Priya. Hi, Priya, how are you?
Doing quite well. Things are going good. And I'm especially excited today because we're talking to Akash, who's our first guest at the podcast. Akash is a PhD student right now at the Institute of Theoretical and Applied Informatics, Polish Academy of Science. He's also part of the steering committee of Q India, and he hosts my favorite thing that Q India does, which is Coffee O'Clock. He's co authored 16 papers on a variety of topics, from quantum computing to tachyonic scalar fields. So this is gonna be exciting. How are you doing, Akash?
Yeah, hi there, Priya and Rajiv. Thanks for first of all, thanks for having me as like a guest in this podcast for the first, like as a first guest, right? And it's like a very big privilege for me to come here and talk to you guys. So first of all, I'm doing fine, Priya. Thank you for asking, and thank you for the really gentle introduction. I'm indeed working in like a lot of stuff at my institute in Polish Academy of Science, but some of the stuff I have stopped working till for now because currently I'm focusing mostly on quantum computing, as you said, like quantum computing and tectonic scalar field and stuff. But yeah, you just summarized everything really nicely, and thank you for the introduction. How are you doing, guys? Like Rajiv and Priya.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, yeah, happy to be here. It's a bit gloomy outside, so I think it's a pretty
Yeah,
good day for a podcast.
It is. Yep.
Pretty relaxing. But I think we can get right into it because we're interested to know. So first of all, at this moment now, you're in Poland, right? And so
yeah.
where are you like in your day to day? Are you doing mostly like research? Or are you writing up something, or are you on like a conference tour? Like what are you up to these days? Like right
Yeah,
now?
I mean, at this moment, I'm like in a very small city, like where I've been in last 3.5 years. It's called Gliwice. It's like a bigger city. It's called Katowice, which is quite famous because it works as a junction between like big places like Warsaw, Krakow, and this kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So Gliwice is not that well known, but they have a institute which in quantum computing, and that is like one of the institutes where I'm working. Like that's the only institute there which is working in quantum computing. So I have been working in like research works, mostly in like machine learning methods in quantum computing. I have been working in projects till last 2 months, but right now I'm mostly focusing in writing my thesis
Oh,
because yeah, because I'm supposed to finish my PhD in I mean tentatively in July 2024.
oh, it's coming up.
Yeah, so it's coming up, so I'm like trying to structurize how I'm going to write my thesis and what is supposed to be there in the thesis. So yeah,
Hmm.
that's it. So although I'm working in like few projects, one or two, but not like they are not the primary focus at this moment, but the primary focus is like summing up my thesis. Yeah.
What's been the best part about focusing on your thesis, and I'm also gonna ask you after what the worst part is. So
Yeah, I bet you have more answers for the worst
yeah,
part, but
yeah.
Well, to be honest, I can tell you the worst part like right away, but the
Okay.
best parts, but for the best parts, to be honest, like, yeah, I mean, there are a couple of best parts I can say, but one of the which is most prominent is basically, I have not been like a student of machine learning, right? Because I have my
Ah.
background in quantum physics, mostly in physics in general, little masters. So when I introduced to the field of machine learning and quantum physics or quantum computing, then I found that I know like very little about quantum, like about machine learning. So during the thesis, I have been more introduced to the field of machine learning and how the machine learning methods and this kind of stuff. And I have been known like how the field has been progressed because I have to include them in my preliminaries and this kind of stuff, right?
Right. Right.
So that's why it was like a very much, you can say, lightening up situation for me, like enlightenment situation in the machine learning field, and I have been gained more knowledge in the field, and
Mm-hmm.
I've seen like a lot of people working in the uh, how to say hybrid field of machine learning and quantum, which I was not
Mm-hmm.
aware of. So it's been quite exciting for me to find that people are really, really looking forward to mixing two fields which are not supposed to be coming together, while writing the thesis. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the best part, you can say. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
nice. So
Um,
what about the worst part?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the worst part is basically writing the thesis itself. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
Because like this is basically a repetitive process. Like
yeah.
there is nothing new going on. You know that okay, I'm supposed to, so consider you one day you plan something that I'm going to write this topic, but then when you write it, next day you read it again, you're like, why did I write it?
Okay.
Like why? I mean, like you find yourself stupid compared to the day, like present day compared to the previous day. So you just change it again and again and again. So my supervisor saw me like I'm changing my thesis a lot, and he's like, Akash, just calm down. Just write your thesis and then criticize yourself at the end. Don't do it right now, because I am there to criticize your thesis, not you, right?
Man,
So
actually, I gotta ask you, like, how do you? So I remember, like, I felt like sometimes there are days where you write a lot, and sometimes there are just days where I don't know. I just would just like go. Do you like manage to keep up that productivity, or how does that work
Hmm.
for you right now?
yeah, I mean, for me, what worked actually, because did the experiment with myself that I've tried to create a routine that where I would write maybe 2 paragraphs a day, 3 paragraphs a
Hmm.
day.
Oh,
No, but didn't work. Honestly speaking, I'm not that efficient at all. But
No.
then I targeted myself that okay, maybe I would write 3 pages a week, which looks realistic,
Ah,
right?
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe
okay.
sound realistic, but it depends on the page size and the font size as well. so I mean, consider like standard 14 pt or something like that, right?
Hmm.
Or Times New Roman. So you have a standard font,
Hmm.
and you might have like 5 6 paragraphs per page. So I managed to do it, but for not more than 3 weeks. Then I
Hmm.
thought, okay, I cannot like continuously force myself to do something which I cannot do. So I just thought, okay, maybe I will not focus on the pages, but focus on the topics itself.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. So when I thought that, okay, so if I am writing this, I just thought that, okay, maybe in next 3 weeks I'm going to finish the introduction, right?
Hmm.
And
Okay.
the next week I'm going to finish the preliminaries, only the theory part. Then in the
Hmm.
preliminaries you can also put the experiment part as well, right? Like from the
Hmm.
previous researches. So or finish that, right? So eventually when I did that, when I choose like the broad part of the research as a focus, I got more coherent than when I choose like, okay, 1 paragraph a day, 2 paragraph a day. It didn't work for me. So
Yeah.
I believe that like when you like choose like a bigger ambition for the future, it got spread, but eventually you
Hmm.
get coherent. But how
Hmm.
coherent you can be, right? I mean, how compressed you can be. So
Hmm.
eventually you end up in a point where you get satisfied by yourself, and you
Hmm.
see that the result is coming out. Yeah.
I like
So that
that
was my approach.
strategy. I'm taking
Yeah.
notes. I'm taking notes as you speak.
Yeah, yeah. Don't get scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
Hmm.
but sorry for the interruption, but like I
No,
don't want
please.
to forget this, because I wanted to say another stuff which
Hmm.
is bad about like thesis writing is
Hmm.
basically like you have to go through all the basics and other stuff and write about them over
Mhm.
and over and over again, right?
Hmm.
And then like when consider I'm in quantum computing and I'm
Yeah.
reading the introduction of something, and they have a lot of stuff, and you want to put a lot of things, because
Hmm.
this is the basically the thing, like there is no separation between a businessman and a thesis writer for PhD, because a
Mm.
businessman has a target that I'm going to sell this product with this consumer, right? And the
Mhm.
Hmm.
thesis writer is going to target that I'm going to sell my thesis to other researchers or master students, PhD students, or high school students, right?
Hmm.
So when you set your like target audience, then you have different kind of expectations out from
Hmm.
yourselves. So
Hmm.
at first I thought I'm going to make my thesis like for maybe schoolers, right? But I couldn't do it, it was impossible. Then I eventually like made my level in such a way. I mean, at this moment I thought that I'm going to do that, made my research in such a way maybe some bachelor student can understand if they
Hmm.
have like like a ground level of linear algebra or something like that. So yeah, that is also like a very big part to decide inside your mind that
Hmm.
how the structure would be of the thesis.
Oh, that's
That's
interesting.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
especially your comparison with it being like it is something that you're selling to an audience.
exactly.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah.
Maybe, and I can ask as well then. So looking, you're kind of in the writing now, so you're actually taking a look back at everything you
Yeah.
did. And so apart from the technical stuff, right? I mean, of course, the
Right.
physics is like, and the quantum computing is really exciting. But what
Yeah.
about the work, or what about your time as a researcher excites you most apart from the technical aspects?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question, because mostly when you're doing research, you don't think about, okay, that there will be some aspects coming which will be out of my research, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like sometimes this is really exciting in not like research, but it's kind of added to research, because I'm so much into the field that even if I'm like outside with my friends, maybe colleagues, we're still discussing, like not work, but brainstorming about like weird ideas about like quantum physics or something like that.
Mm.
So I really enjoy this kind of weird talks which maybe don't have any basis, but slight bit of basis based on philosophy or maybe AI or something like that, or maybe some kind of book, maybe some um, how to say, um, intermixing of philosophy and quantum physics, which is like really like a niche field people don't usually work on. These kind of things outside my field of research, right? So these things excite me really much. Over a
Do you have a
coffee, why not?
recommendation for
Yeah.
us? Do you have a recommendation of a book or some piece of work from this
Yeah, I
this
mean,
year?
at this moment, I am reading a book. Like it is written by David Deutsch. Deutsch just algorithm. This guy.
Hmm.
So it's called The Fabric of Reality, which I'm
Mm,
reading at this moment. But this is mostly like a very technical perspective on philosophy and reality and how to perspect that, like how to
ah,
see that. But on the other hand, if you want to find like a very understandable way of understanding, like maybe life and philosophy and other kind of stuff, there is a book I was reading. It's basically a autobiography of a samurai from Japan. His
ah,
name is
Wow.
Miyamoto Musashi, and
right.
the book is called Musashi, and it's written by Eiji Yoshikawa, and it's like a very very amazing book. So yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Physics,
Nice.
philosophy, and samurais. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there is a very good interconnection actually. Like I didn't know that the samurais were so much, because at the time people didn't used to have like our like Zoom, or maybe we're doing this podcast and not this efficient connection, right? So at that time people used to do promises to themselves. Okay, please, like my friend, please meet me like after 3 days or 3 years on
Mm,
that road, on that particular position under the tree. They didn't don't even know that the tree will be there, right? Or the road will be there. So they had this interconnected understanding of themselves, and also like the inner, how to say, um, how to present this, this how to say, stiffness. Not stiffness is basically, they had their words. They meant their words. Like
Mm.
whatever they used to do, whatever they used to say, they used to do it. It doesn't matter what. So this was, I think this was also part of a, like human philosophy as well, to eventually getting to believe someone, yeah, on the basis of that, because nobody knows the future and it's probabilistic as well, right? So yeah,
Right.
so on
Yeah.
that huge vast of probability, and you're believing someone and coming there, maybe you're not going to see that person, right? So
I
I
mean,
think
that's
it's a, yeah.
no.
Rajiv.
Sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I mean, I was just about to finish that. Yeah, this basically, like, this excites me because, I don't find this kind of commitment, right, to a person which you maybe suddenly met or maybe know for 3 to 4 days. But they used to have this kind of commitment, and it just really excites me to understand that this kind of perspective of human being. And, yeah.
And I know this is a bit, off topic, but just to that point, I think it makes a lot of sense because I don't know. It feels like nowadays with like how you started, right, with the Zoom and interconnectivity of like just emails and texting and everything, right? You could just always change your mind. You could always, switch things up.
Exactly.
It's really rare I'm gonna tell somebody like, "Yo, meet me under the tree in 3 years," because I'd be like, "Well, it doesn't matter. We'll figure it out through texting
Exactly.
or whatever," right? So,
Yeah.
but it does take away something, there where you're just kind of more like bound to your word, a bit sure of like how things,
Mm,
what you want to do, regardless of like what the rest of the world is doing, right?
mm,
Exactly.
mm.
That's so
Speaking
true.
of people, though, and because Akash, you've been in a bunch of different places and you've worked with a bunch of different people, so I'm
Yeah.
curious to know about what maybe has been your most interesting professional interaction. Um, yeah,
Yeah. I
in
mean, yeah. I'm sorry for the Sorry, I didn't like let you finish the question, but
oh
I know
no,
like
that
where you're
was
going actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, yeah.
Yeah, I mean this like this is a very is funny thing that the reason I came to Poland is connected with this question, like
Mm-hmm.
because when I came to Poland, my colleagues were like, why did you came to Poland? Because people go to Germany, people go to Netherlands, people
You
go to
know,
maybe.
that was
Yeah.
actually going to be our next question, so I'm glad
Oh.
you're talking about that.
Oh, that's really funny. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was supposed to be, like this question should be like a normal question for
Mm-hmm.
everyone. They should ask me. But the most important thing is that not the work that attracted me, but my boss, like my
Mm-hmm.
supervisor. He's such an humble person, such an amazing person, and mostly such an organic person. When I was first doing the interview with him and when I interacted with him, I really find him fascinating
Mm-hmm.
that he also was so technical, and at the same time he was like so people, like a human, right? Not like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, Akash, question this, answer that, and I'm gonna judge you or something like that. It was I really felt comfortable with him, and at the same time we had like a really really long meeting with each other after the official meeting. And I also met my colleagues at the time. Like one of my colleagues is Adam Gloss. I think you have seen
Hmm.
him on one of my co-authors some
Coffee.
papers.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
he's also he gave a coffee a clock. So
Yep.
Exactly right. And like he is extremely technical and he's so efficient in his work. But when we're talking, we talk from literally mathematics, philosophy, computer science to everything. So it's basically like an amazing combination to talk to some person and to connect to. I mean, at least for me. So I thought like, yeah, this is the place I want to go and maybe work with. And this is like one of the best like interactions I had during
Mm-hmm.
my PhD. That is with my boss and specifically with Adam. And then there is another coffee o'clock who came also. Her name is Ludmila. She also came to coffee
Mm-hmm.
o'clock. Yeah, and she's also like very interested in this stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I consider myself lucky, okay, that I had these colleagues who are really interested in not only like quantum physics, quantum computing, but also philosophical aspect of it, and also like gamifying aspect of it. You can
Mm-hmm.
gamify this stuff as well.
like, what do you mean by gamifying aspect?
Yeah, like gamifying aspect, basically what I mean that people usually use quantum computing in like very technical stuff, maybe condensed matter physics, maybe like mathematical applications, maybe finding what I'm doing actually at this moment, like finding like efficient structures for quantum hardwares. This sounds really fancy and interesting, right? But consider like Ludmila, she's working in something like how to make music with quantum computing, right?
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, and this is really interesting. So that's what I'm saying, like gamifying it, like making it fun for people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for
it's not
sure.
like like people will understand that okay, there is something like mathematical model I'm going to solve with quantum physics. Nobody will be interested in that. But if you say I made like a Beethoven's music with quantum computing, everybody will jump on that, right? So yeah,
What
so
I'm
yeah,
hearing is that there's a lot more than just the technical, I don't know, hardcore physics and computing aspect to what you do on a regular basis. Like there's a lot of play involved. There's a lot of your interactions with people really make or break how much you're enjoying the work that you're doing,
that's so
which
true.
is nice. Which is it's a good insight. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, speaking of games, I think if it's okay, I'm up to play a game. So thanks for playing along. I know we all supposed to bring something spicy to explain to the listeners. We call it slice it up or spice it up. It's actually inspired from a hip hop podcast called Drink Champs. But essentially,
oh,
um, so I have some chips and some hot sauce from New Orleans actually.
Ooh.
Uh,
Okay.
I don't know.
looks dangerous.
What do you guys have
What do
for
you
this?
have, Akash?
I'm gonna sip it up. I found it on the It's like sauce chili and something written in Polish, but I can surely say it's written hot chili
Okay.
here
Okay.
somewhere.
Is it a Polish like spicy thing?
Yeah, I think it's Polish. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
okay, so I cannot confirm because I'm from India. If you say spicy, right, then it
Yeah.
means spicy. But if I
Yeah.
say Polish spice, it might be sweet as well. Okay, so don't blame me
That's
if I
okay.
don't react. Okay, after taking the sweet, that spice.
Well, the
Okay.
point is not to torture you, right? The point is to just make
Yeah.
it slightly uncomfortable, but
Yeah,
also tasty, right?
Yep.
What do
Yep.
you
yeah.
got going on, Priya?
I've also got hot sauce. I've got some Thai hot sauce. I don't
Oh,
know.
Oh,
I don't use this very much. I'm not. You just mentioned being from India. I'm not very good with spice. Like, no, I don't. A lot of people here ask me if I'm good with spice, being Indian, but so I'm not really looking forward to you not answering, Akash. I hope you. Yeah. I hope I don't have to do too many of these.
or
yeah. So
maybe if
actually,
he.
oh,
No,
go
I'm
ahead, go
saying
ahead.
like if Pierre reacts to the sauce, maybe we should like shuffle, like switch the sauces
That's right. We should
with
switch.
biryani
You know.
again.
Yeah, if we could.
But
Yep.
yeah, so the game is actually it's pretty simple. So I give you two options,
Hmm?
and you can say you can pick one, or if you can't pick one, you can say both or neither. But if you say both or neither, then you have to take a sip of your hot sauce.
Ah, okay.
And the criteria, like the criteria that you, it's very subjective. Even the criteria that you choose to pick it is very subjective. How you
Yeah.
interpret the question is all subjective. And it's not like you don't have to be super fast about it. You can even, pick one. And if you feel like saying a couple of words why, or like, thinking out loud, all that, it's all good. You can take
Hmm.
your time. All right.
Sounds interesting.
So let's start
Yeah.
with the first one. Shore or Grover?
Um, why?
Oh no.
uh,
Are we spicing it?
yeah.
No. Yeah. Okay.
You can't
I
pick?
cannot. I cannot. No, 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 no. Sorry,
Gosh,
sorry.
All right, it starts good.
is it really that hard, Akash? Do you really not have a preference for?
Well,
I don't think so. No, no, no. It's impossible.
all
Really.
right. Cheers, guys.
Yeah. No.
Guys?
Okay. Cheers. Ah,
Not too bad.
All right,
not too
not
bad. Not too
bad.
bad.
But
Not
if you
too
keep
bad.
going like this, I don't know. I don't know how I can know how to go. But you really can't pick. Okay, okay, fair enough. I mean, those are two
Really, I cannot.
hard to pick.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one. Bell test experiments or double slit experiment?
Double slit.
What?
Okay. How
Double
come?
slit.
Why?
Yeah, because there is a reason. When I
Okay.
was first introduced to quantum, that was the first experiment I've ever known, like the first time I known, and it just fascinated me. I have been thinking about the experiment for like weeks, truly,
Um,
and it has been like in my mind all the time. So like like Bell experiment is amazing and it's fascinating. Like no experiment is like that, right? It was supposed to be the best, one of the best experiments in the history, right? But then when I came to the Bell experiment, I have been known quantum physics for a long time, and it shocked me, but not that much because I was expecting something is going to happen, right? So yeah, that's the reason.
that's a good reason, yeah. There's a lot
Yeah,
more awe I would also associate with the double slit
exactly.
experiment. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mm.
for sure.
All right. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle or the no clone theorem?
Heisenberg.
Okay.
Yeah, because it goes the same reason, honestly speaking.
We have a pattern here.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, CV Raman or Satyendranath Bose?
Satyanath Bose.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You want the reason?
Yeah,
Sure. I mean,
I'm curious.
if you like sharing, we're all ears. So.
Yeah, so when I was in my master's, basically, like in the first year, we had this course in statistical mechanics, and at that time, I introduced to this Fermi statistics, Bose statistics, and also Boltzmann statistics, right? So I used to study Bose statistics too much because before that, coming to Bose statistics, I heard this quote by Feynman. There is a there is a lot of space on the ground, right, on the bottom, or something like that. I forgot the exact code. So I'm like, how to interpret that with the post statistics, right? So then I eventually like tried to explore more and more and more the Bose statistics, and I came up that okay, these guys are bosons. They don't have spin, so they don't follow this Pauli explosion principle, so they can be in the ground state over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
all the particles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you can
Mm-hmm.
just stack them up all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So as
To
much
make the
as you want.
Brodach condensate,
Yeah.
right?
So exactly, that's why like I explored this Bose statistics so much that I got like too much on Bose.
That's
Fair.
that's
Yeah.
that's a good story, man.
Yeah.
Um,
What's
so
next?
post quantum cryptographic algorithms or quantum key distribution.
Hmm. I'm not like a huge explorer of this field, but
But
quantum
for
key
you,
distribution, yes, because
Mm-hmm.
I have read like couple of articles on them, and there are some guys in Q India as well. They are working in this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I also, when I went to like visit in like Delft, Netherlands, right, the Delft University of Technology, there are some people who are working in this field, and I interacted with them, and I found them really quite interesting people. So you can say I'm interested in the field because of the people, mostly because I find them interesting. So
Mm-hmm.
you can say yeah,
that's
that one.
cool.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I
Nice.
choose that one. Yeah.
Okay, I think I got one more, and then Priya might have one after as well. So, NISC or fault tolerant?
Oh, how can I choose one? Because I think I have to sip it because the thing is that I'm working on
No.
NIST because to make it like fault tolerant, right?
I see.
So this is really hard for me to choose.
So you're skipping this one then. Do we have to
Well,
do
Yeah,
this again?
we got to do it again. Exactly.
Okay.
yeah. Okay. So hmm. Oh, okay. It's getting spicier as I'm sipping more
Yeah,
now.
Yeah. Okay.
you got a couple of Priya to ask.
Yeah. No, I was just, this is always my question to anybody working in quantum. And I hope you have an answer. And this is not even a this or that. Do you have a favorite qubit modality, maybe? Where are you putting your money? Superconducting circuits, photonics, Henry centers, ion traps.
Oh, you have to choose between many things, huh? That's
Yeah,
hard,
yeah,
man.
you just have to give us one. And I hope you will give
No,
us one.
yeah. Actually, I will give you one because I'm kind of biased
Mm-hmm.
to use IBM systems for running, right? And I have like okay, maybe it is because whenever I run on IBM devices, the outcome was as I expected,
Okay.
right? Even it is a bad outcome. When I
Hmm.
run them, I get the bad outcome, right? So
Hmm.
Uh,
so I was satisfied with my results. So at this moment, I'm going to put like superconducting. But I think personally that ion traps have more potential because it's more coherent and it's the field is like uh, more technical in the sense that the qubits has more like coherence and
mm-hmm.
the qubits decohere less, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even though the system size is small, but you
Right.
can still get like a very high fidelity of the qubits. Yeah.
Mm. Okay,
So
that's a good
so
answer.
superconducting qubits, yeah.
Okay, superconducting. There is an answer. We don't have to do it
Yeah.
again. Yeah, this was fun. Thanks, Rajiv.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we were just wondering, Akash, do you, since we're almost coming to the close of our conversation here, is there anything else you'd like to share? Anything at all to anyone who's watching or listening?
Yeah, I mean, anyone who's watching or listening, maybe I have maybe suggestion
Mm-hmm.
or people who are coming to PhD or something like that, or maybe who wants to think about coming to PhD, that this quantum field is getting really kind of, I would say, saturated in the sense that people are working in one topic, like, quantum computing application done, quantum computing application done, right? In any kind of application, but this was not supposed to be like quantum computing application and done, right? This was supposed to be the quantum computing itself and how to make these quantum formalisms more and more enhanced, right? So I think like even though I'm also working quantum computing application and done, but if I could do my PhD again, I would choose to like explore more on the foundations of quantum,
Mm-hmm.
in the sense that like maybe give you let me give you an example. Like we're using these variational quantum algorithms where we
Mm-hmm.
use this like classical and quantum machines, like combination of machines, to make the quantum computing like more efficient, right? Like not to give like because quantum machines are really small and really inefficient. So we put like the half of the, or maybe most of the weight of this quantum algorithm in classical machines, right? But the thing is that in that method itself, we use variational principle, like for finding the ground state of a problem or something. But think about this thing, like variational principle came out in 1940s, 1930s, right? Or
Mm.
1920s. So we are using that variational principle at this moment, right?
Mm.
But the think about this, like there can be some other kind of formalism where we can introduce for these variational quantum problems to find ground state of a molecule or maybe any kind of problem which is relevant to the society, which would modify the quantum computing application part, but not like finding new application for the same application, just changing the how you see the quantum computing, right?
Oh.
So I think like it would be really interesting to like new researchers or newcomers in the field to explore the foundation field more than finding new applications, right? Because there are plenty of applications to work on, right? Yeah.
Man, I like that. Wise words to end today.
Yep.
I want to thank you, Akash, again for taking the time from your busy schedule, especially when you're writing. I know it's a lot to do, so thanks again for coming on for the very first episode. If you want to know more about Akash, you can find him on his website, which we've put in the description below, where you can get his contact information, find out about his research. But also he has some works on philosophy, his own works on philosophy and poetry. So definitely take a look at that.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Thank you to my co-host Priya, and the music you hear at the beginning that you hear now is from Himanshu Katara. So shout outs to him, and we put a link to his YouTube as well in the description. Thanks everyone, and
Thank you
until
so
next
much,
time.
Akash. It was nice. Thanks,
Yeah.
Rathi.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much,
Bye.
Priya and Rajit. See you guys.
Ciao.
Bye
Bye.
bye.